Pokemon Legends ZA is finally out, which means we now have access to Mega Malamar's move pool and stats. And while Malamar itself did get some buffs in Close Combat and Stealth Rock, the jump in stats from regular Malamar to Mega Malamar doesn't look too crazy. But Mega Malamar did get a nice buff in its special attack, jumping from base 68 from regular Malamar to 98. And with a very viable special move pool, including moves like Flamethrower, Expanding Force, and Thunderbolt, maybe being a special attacker is in the future of Mega Malamar. So let's talk about it. Alright, Mega Malamar. I want to preface this video by saying that there will be no spoilers for any new Megas in this video at all. We're just going to be talking about Mega Malamar, a Pokemon that was officially revealed and took over, I guess, Lumiose as a whole, or whatever they did with their stuff. So I just want to let y'all know, no spoilers. I'm not going to talk about those for another couple days, because at least at that point it'll be a week, but we're still only a couple days into this. So Malamar, as we know, and I would love to know your thoughts. And a lot of this is theory modding and just my thoughts in general. So I would love to know what you have to say down below. But Malamar, as we know, is the contrary Pokemon. And contrary, while it is a broken ability, Malamar is far from broken. We do want to talk a little bit before we get into Mega Malamar about the buffs that it got in Pokemon Legends ZA. The first is Close Combat. So Close Combat's really cool because now you can raise your defense and special defense at the same time by using that, as opposed to Super Power, which raises your attack and special attack, attack and defense. So obviously attack and defense is better for what Malamar wants to do. It wants to sweep by clicking Super Power and then clicking Knock Off, and then potentially having the maybe Psycho Cut coverage or Rest Talk, right? It's going to be Rest Sleep Talk, it's going to be Psycho Cut Trick Room, whatever it is. Close Combat just gives you the ability to boost both defenses, because one of the ways you deal with Malamar, even though it's, it's not that hard to deal with Malamar, because it's really difficult for Malamar to start getting, to become a threat, I would say. Just because it's pretty poor typing. Terra can help, but then its stats are like a little bit eh. But then you have, obviously, Mega Malamar, which is going to have plus 100. So we'll talk into that stats in a second. But this could be cool because it raises special defense, making it a little bit difficult to take it down. Because otherwise, one of the ways you deal with it is just with a special answer. Like even max special defense, Malamar is only 273. Not that much. Another little buff it got was Stealth Rock. I think this is really cool for the Trick Room plus Stealth Rock option if you really want to as a lead. Maybe Destiny Bond. Then you run like Close Combat over Super Power and you run Knockoff or whatever. Or you run Super Power Knockoff as that. So I think it's pretty cool. I think it's more so interesting for Draft, which is the format where you're going to be running, you're going to see what your opponent can bring, and they see what you can bring, so you try to counter team each other. So I think Stealth Rock gives you a little option there for a little late game Malamar if you want to end up using it for Draft. So I'm trying to just adjust myself in my chair. I'm like really uncomfortable. And then the last one is Bulk Up. Now, Bulk Up is not that great with Contrary, but it does now have access to Bulk Up. It also has access to Zen Headbutt. It also has access to Poison Jab. Bulk Up is just interesting. Just gives you another tool if you want to use, I guess, Suction Cups or something like that. Basically, it's Super Power, but, you can use Infiltrator with it or anything like that. Again, just an interesting option for Malamar. But that's not what you're here for. You're here for Mega Malamar. Now, Mega Malamar is, I don't want to say it's a disappointment, but when we have looked at Pokemon before in this channel, especially just the other day when we looked at Mega Chestnut, Mega Delphox, and Mega Greninja, based on their stats, based on their prior move pools, you could tell they were going to be really good, right? The stat increase, the speed, special attack, they basically made what was good about them even better. So when you think of Mega Malamar, the things that come to mind for me would be like, okay, well, you'll solve Malamar's speed problem, and you'll solve Malamar's weak. Like, it's weak. It's very weak. Base 92 attack isn't that strong, even at +1. It's really tough for this Pokemon to get going, like I said. And also, you can literally switch in Ghost types on Malamar and just block the Super Power, and you don't take much from a neutral knockoff because Malamar is a weak Pokemon. But Mega Malamar, they had the chance to fix this. What did they do, though? Well, what they did was they added 10 base more attack. I'm like, okay, that's okay, right? At least it's over 100, base 102. Not terrible, right? And then after that, they should have went more in speed, right? Like, okay, what could they do? Oh, they could give it +40 speed and make it an actual Contrary threat. Because Contrary right now, the Pokemon we have that are actually good with Contrary are actually fast. Serperior and Enamorus. They are very fast Pokemon. And then we have on the flip side, slower Pokemon that are not that great with Contrary. Like my Pokemon that I wish got a Mega, which is Spindle. I really want that Mon to be like a drunken master. Just go full on speed and attack. Make it better than Mega Lopunny with Contrary and just click, 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 click. Different video. So what they did was they added +30 to its special attack. Now, this isn't a bad change. They also added a lot to its special defense. It went from base 73 to base 120, and then its speed also went 75, excuse me, to base 120, and then its speed went from base 73 to base 88. So these are actually decent things for it, right? So Malamar gets access to Nasty Plot, if you didn't know. Now, typically you won't use Nasty Plot Malamar because you're running Contrary. However, and it also doesn't have the greatest special attack. However, when you're base 88 speed, this is a great speed tier because common threats in the current metagame, or at least in just standard in OU right now, you'll have Great Tusk, which you'll be able to outspeed and threaten with super effective damage. You have Golden Go, which you can outspeed and threaten with either a Stab, Dark Pulse, or even Flamethrower, because Malamar does have special coverage, right? It has Flamethrower, it has Thunderbolt, it has Expanding Force, it has Psychic, Shock, Psychic Noise, right? So it has special coverage. It has things to do that. So for Nasty Plot, it's not terrible, especially on a Pokemon that's faster. It's just difficult for me to justify, and this is without knowing abilities. Obviously, we don't know any abilities in Pokemon Legends EA. An ability could change it, but I'm going to get into that in a second too. It's just really difficult for me to justify using something like this over a Delphox, which has, I mean, Dark and Fire are both great offensive typings, but Delphox has Stab, Flamethrower, has a stronger special attack stat, literally has these moves outside of Thunderbolt, has Grass Knot, and can just put in a ton of work and then just, you know, be easier to use, right? Whereas Malamar, all right, you're starting off as base Malamar, which is already slow to begin with. You can Meta Evolve immediately, but you can't really use Nasty Plot with Contrary, right? And then if you're using this with Close Combat or like Sewer Power, you're still not really getting too much of a buff because it still suffers from the same thing as regular Malamar does. It is initially too weak. Even with a 10 base increase, it is initially too weak on non-stab moves to do damage to get itself going. Now, the special defense boost is really cool. If you actually look at this, I thought this was a really interesting thing about Malamar. But the special defense boost is just its other one is 273, and this is 372. So I thought it was pretty cool that they did that. I think they did that on purpose, right? But I think that's a really cool way to flip it around. And I would have hoped that it would have been a lot faster, just based on like how it looked and it was slimmer and it looked like it was, you know, it looked like it was able to run. But no, there are other options though. I think Close Combat gives it some cool stuff. But like I said, Close Combat plus stored power sets. A little bit easier to go that. It obviously still has access to knockoff. But like, I don't think Contrary is... It just doesn't feel like a good Contrary Pokemon. Unless they decide, okay, we're going to go to the Deoxys route, we're going to go the Lugia route, and we're going to give this Pokemon Psycho Boost. Now, if they give Mega Malamar Psycho Boost, completely different story. For those that don't know how Psycho Boost work, basically, it's your Draco Meteor for psychic moves, right? It's going to lower your special attack, -2, very, very, very strong. And in the case of a Contrary Mon, it would raise special attack +2. We already have Serperior using it with Leaf Storm, and, well, basically Serperior with Leaf Storm doing that. So it'd be a really cool, also if you're like, if you're playing like any hack or ROM hack, they're usually going to put like Psycho Boost on some Contrary Mon just to give it some love, right? So I think Psycho Boost would actually be a big thing, because then, first off, it's harder to deal with because Malamar has coverage, right? Malamar has Close Combat Superpower, so it's actually harder to bring in Dark types on Malamar specifically. I think Ghost types are easier to switch in just because knockoff isn't that strong coming off of the original base 92 attack non-boosted, right? If you're running max attack Malamar, by the way, especially in like an OU tier, good luck. You're not tanking any hits and you're not really doing much. You're better off running like Gambit. King Gambit, obviously. Well, you can say that for a lot of things. You're better off running King Gambit, yeah, obviously. But Psycho Boost would obviously change the game, and it would keep Contrary actually being good. I was trying to think of other abilities that would actually make Malamar really strong. And again, when it came to Delphox, Greninja, and Chestnut, the abilities don't matter, right? They're just going to be a plus for whatever they have, because their forms, their stats, and their move pools prior, they all work together, right? It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's just they work really well. But when it comes to Malamar, it just doesn't. It just doesn't. It has a speed for a potential Nasty Plot set, but it has Contrary prior. So you're not be able to get the boost unless after, or if you don't run Contrary, which is fine, but then you have to stay one turn in Malamar form and then go for Nasty Plot before switching. You don't get that much of a speed increase. And on top of that, like, what else could we give it to make it broken? So I was thinking about like other abilities that could potentially make this Mon worth. And it's obviously going to be a special attacker. I mean, they gave it +30, but it also looked like it was a special attacker. We had a feeling it would be based on the and the trailers and everything that we were going. But I was thinking about Simple. I was like, okay, what's the opposite of Contrary? So it gives you the opposite one. Why not? They already do the opposite. Why not just do Simple? Simple would mean that Nasty Plot would be a +4 boost. And you're like, well, Joey, 88 speed and Simple seems pretty broken. Does it? No, right? No. may I introduce you to every single Pokemon that has Simple as an ability, and Swoobat. Swoobat is base 114 speed. All right, this Mon cannot do it. Now, granted, Mega Malamar, let me get this Malamar out of the way, but granted, Mega Malamar has better stats, right? It now has better stats. And like, good. A Mega should be worth the cost. That's the big thing of justifying it. Like, why would I use a Mega Audino to Wish Protect when I can use a different Mega and I can use a Regenerator Pokemon, like even regular Audino, right? They should have gave Mega Audino. I really hope they give a Regenerator when it comes back. But a Mega Pokemon is already a cost in the slot, whether you're playing any format, VGC, Draft, Singles, 3v3. A Mega Pokemon is a slot. It is a cost. And if you Mega Evolve, that is, you've paid the cost. You cannot Mega Evolve anymore. So you need to give this Mon something to justify using it over something else, right? And it's not like, I know, Suet's a bad Pokemon, right? Unfortunately. Babero, like Moody is cool, but none of the simple Pokemon are actually good. So I was thinking Simple might actually be something that could actually give it, especially when they give it a better special attack stat. It wouldn't make it anything broken, but it being faster than Glamora, it being faster than Golden Go, it being faster than Hisuian Samurott, and Pokemon below that I think is really nice, faster than Great Touch. So giving it something that can actually do. So I feel like at the current point in time, it's a bit of a disappointment. And you say, Joey, no abilities, obviously. But again, it's just, I expected more. I wanted more from Malamar because, in my opinion, a Mega Pokemon should basically make what you already are better. Look at Mega Chestnut. Chestnut's already a tank. They suited up that tank with Mega Chestnut, right? Greninja's already fast and hits hard. They made it faster and hit harder. Delphox is already fast and hit hard. They made it faster and hits harder, right? Charizard kind of had, like, you know, an identity crisis. It doesn't always know if it wants to be physical Dragon Dance or a special Solar Power Sweeper. Zard X and Y. You got both. Like, it's just, this is, in my opinion, what makes a Mega really good, right? Camerupt is slow and a special attacker. Could be physical too. They made Mega Camerupt, which is slower, which is better for Trick Room, and a stronger special attacker. And physical attacker too, if you count like Sheer Force Rock Slide and things like that too. So it's just, a Mega Pokemon should be just that. It's Mega, it's making what the Pokemon already is even better. I do think though, on the flip side, there are Megas that obviously lose speed. There are obviously Megas that up attack for that speed, and they do it based on, you know, the way the Mega looks. And I think that's completely fine. I just think in this case, they already raised its attack and speed. They should have just went, you know, all the way. We're in Generation 10. We're in a generation where instead of Fiery Dance, which we do use on Iron Moth, but instead of Fiery Dance, 50% chance, we have Torch Song with 100% to raise your special attack. So that's kind of my thoughts on Malamar. I feel like potential is there. It's really dependent on its ability though. And it's going to take a lot to really justify using this Pokemon over any of the other Psychic types like Mega Alakazam or Delphox. But I mean, I'm sure you already knew that. But let me know your thoughts down below. Also, if you did not know, we do currently have merch available. Now, this is very limited merch. We have the Mega Drop right here going on with my 3 favorite Megas from Pokemon Legends ZA. That's Victreebel. Yes, I love Victreebel. That's Dragonite. Yes, I like the idea behind Dragonite, and we'll talk about it in a bit. And also, Dragonite's colors are amazing. And then Mega Greninja. We also have my 40-ounce ice shaker. Stainless steel. Keeps the cold stuff cold. First time. Look at that. We got a straw for once on here. So this is really nice, especially if you go into the gym or you're a coffee addict or whatever it is. But feel free to pick them up if you want to. We have the different colors as well for these guys. And these are all very limited. You can use code AIM for 10% off. As well as my reskin Meteor Burst. It's still Meteor Burst, but it's Mega Meteor Burst and has like a little collectible colors over it. But there's only 100 of each, and we've sold quite a bit of all of them. So when it's done, we're doing it all in-house, which is why we're doing 100 each, because it takes about an hour to make them. And then it's like, if it's an hour per hoodie, we do, 10 hours of hoodies a day. That's 10 hoodies, etc. So we're trying to get everything to people, at least their order out within a month and a half. Like everybody's, they're literally being made to order right now. So if you want to pick it up, feel free to use code AIM. Thank you for supporting me. This is hydration, 0 caffeine, 0 calories, 0 sugar. But if you get anything caffeinated from VanityG 18+, oh, I can show you. This is embroidered, by the way. I can show you the. I have it right here. It's just a little hot, so I didn't want to put it on right now. But I have the embroidered Dragonite. It is my logo as a Dragonite. And yeah. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Let me know your thoughts on Mega Malamar. I will see you guys in the next one. That's it. Peace. Get out of here.